best friend's about to lose 30 minutes. This is so exciting. For Charlie from Down Under, wait, was it Thunder from Down Under, parentheses, Virginia. Give it up now for Charlie.
Myself do the New York Times crossword puzzle. Really engaging when I'm kind of firing on all cylinders. 5 letters synonym for sexy? Smart. But no, then I rushed my tickets over here. I was listening to my Hype Up playlist on the way here. 2 words, Beach Boys, right? They get me fired up. I don't know why they call it falsetto, because honey, all I hear is the truth. Pet sounds and chill, wouldn't that be nice? I also brought a tote bag with me tonight. I do not know why. I haven't opened the thing in weeks, but it kind of stays glued to my side at all times. I think living in New York, I like to carry a tote bag because I don't have a car, but deep down I kind of yearn for the glove compartment. You know what I mean? There's something instinctual. I just want to carry stuff around. So, unrelated, by the way, if anyone does need 13 Chipotle napkins, I'm Charlie. I'm not like dear friends with every person in the room. I'm Charlie. My family calls me CHARDY because my sister gave me that nickname. And when I tell people that, they usually assume like she couldn't pronounce my name when she was little and it stuck. You know what I mean? That's a classic way to get a nickname. I usually let people believe that because I don't really want to admit to them that she gave it to me at 15 years old as a way to kind of subtly make fun of my uncle's regional accent. So I'm like, yeah, she was a cute kid, she's crazy, yeah. I've been preparing this half hour. I really wanted to make sure it was well-rounded, so I was trying to think of like some impressions, trying to prepare some impressions. But I ran into a roadblock pretty quickly, which was that the only impressions I'm really interested in doing are like niche moments from my family history. You know what I mean? So they're not like really broadly applicable. Like the impression I want to do is my uncle laughing at his own joke, like 3 glasses of red wine deep. Finally decides to reprimand me for taking a joke too far, but it's at the exact moment he's put a spoonful of peanut butter in his mouth. Charlie, touch this cool of course, my favorite, the impression I really always want to do is my grandmother, after we took her to see Lady Bird on her 85th birthday. Heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. She had a challenged relationship with her mother. We miss you, Nana. We miss you. Think of it, that was probably the last movie she ever saw in theaters. What a way to end it. Heavy stuff. I'm 6'3". I am often told I don't act like it. It's like I don't know what to do with that. Like, what do you want me to do? Die younger on average? I'm working on it. Getting closer every day. Rolling, falling a day. But I think part of my problem is I don't really fit neatly into like a tall archetype. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like super skinny, lanky, like Jim Halpert. But I'm also not like buff, like current day John Krasinski, you know what I mean? Jack Reacher, like sure I'm tall, I'm not propaganda tall. No, I think I fall somewhere sort of in between those two poles. I think my best physical peg is probably probably like Julia Child in her later years. Right? Sort of right near the end, that's what I'm working with physically. She was a tall woman, but a handsome woman, right? Yeah, the word used to go both ways, people forget. No, I think I also just like don't really read as a grown man. Like I think I kind of give like overgrown child on my best day. Kind of look like I got left behind on a field trip and just stayed. Lived out the rest of my life in that regional art museum. Never got spoken to louder than a whisper. Pulled all my clothes out of the lost and found and got all my sustenance from culture, right? It's what feeds me at the end of the day. I'm gay. But you already knew that because I told you I took my grandmother to see Lady Bird on her context clues. But Richie kind of scooped me on this one, but my older brother is also gay. And when I tell people that, sometimes you can see them kind of like doing the mental math of nature versus nurture in their heads, you know what I mean? I'll spare you guys the trouble, we were nurtured to be this way. Have you ever heard people say Venus and Serena Williams' dad wrote this 80-page plan for their lives before they were even born? I have to imagine my parents did something similar when they were sort of like scoping out the family media diet, just to make sure we were all like members of the community, alphabet mafia. Because like growing up, our sports were Project Runway, American Idol, maybe Top Chef if we were feeling glitch that day. Thank you, Bridget. I mean, we would, of course, watch the Super Bowl for the ads. Right? But make no mistake, in the Flynn household, the Super Bowl refers to the Kennedy Center honors. That's the biggest night of the year. That's magic every December in our nation's capital. And then they had the gall to act even like a little bit surprised when each of us came out. It was like 1%. But it was like, wasn't this the plan? Wasn't this what you were going for? Can't show a developing boy that much barefoot Contessa. Then act shocked when he wants to go find a Jeffrey. Thank you. Did anyone buy our memoir? It came out yesterday. If you're ready when the luck comes. It's just me. I'll give you a full report. But speaking of which, I think the best example of my parents, I was about to say my parents grooming me, which is just not true. I think the best example of this phenomenon, when I was in 7th grade, we were assigned to give a presentation on a nonfiction book of our choosing. So naturally, at my parents' behest, I went with When You Are Engulfed in Flames, essays by American humorist David Sedaris. So like all the other kids got up there and they were talking about like Expedition Everest or like the Diary of Anne Frank. And then I get up there and I'm like, so David and his partner take the wackiest trip to Australia. And he gets so mad at him for walking too fast through the dingo exhibit at the zoo. Ride home, David's got a little tickle in his throat. Pops a cough drop. Folks, it falls right out of his mouth into the lap of the guy sitting next to him. But then in the end, David realizes he needs to quit smoking. So he goes to Japan alone for a few months, solo travel, and he really learns a lot about himself. Guys, this book will make you laugh and it will make you cry. More than anything, it'll make you think. I can't recommend it highly enough. They don't have it in the school's library, but we will gladly lend you our signed first edition. We read banned books. I was like funny in school, but I was never really the class clown, you know? I was always something closer to like the teacher's jester. You know, like, shall I tell another, Miss Gedler? I so have your pleasure. Despite all of this, I was somehow raised Catholic, but as I'm sure you can guess, I lost interest pretty early. Basically, as soon as I realized you couldn't boil down holy water and extract pure divinity, I was out. What's the point of any of this? If it works for sea salt, it doesn't work for the Holy Ghost. Why not? You start asking questions like that, and they just respond to you like, the mystery of fate. So it never really gets better. So now I consider myself more of like a spiritual person, I'd say. Mainly just like on my phone. Like, you know when your iPhone gives you featured photos, just like random pictures from your camera roll that sort of pop up? Those are my tarot cards. Those, I think, have so much to say about like where my life is headed, how things are going. Like, oh, a picture of my Prius that I took in 2017 to remember where I parked. The Chariot. Positive momentum. Things are looking good. But like, oh, a screenshot of the mom from Good Luck Charlie's anti-vax tweets. The High Priestess. It's time to reflect and retreat. Things are not as they seem. Oh my god, an earnest selfie I took because I thought the lighting was nice one day. The Fool. Holly, lack of judgment. It's not safe. Turn back now. Folks, I won't tell you what the One of Swords is, but I will tell you I got romance in the future. It's a dick joke. I've heard that. Usually when that doesn't make me feel something, I'll then go in to find my friends and start like looking for constellations. Anything else? If someone's on the train, that's a shooting star. It's gonna be I love being on the train. There's nothing more devastating than arriving at your destination, right? I wish I could be kind of on my way forever. Anyways, I am. What else? Is anyone dating? Awesome, cover done. I had to get off the apps recently. It's just too many mozzarella sticks at a certain point. Body can only handle so much. But I'm trying to be more positive about dating now. I'm trying to like reframe some of my negative thoughts. The other day I went on like a really boring first date and I left feeling pretty frustrated. I was like, oh awesome, we had absolutely no interest in common, cool. But then as I was walking home from the train I thought to myself, hold on, we'd be incredible trivia partners, right? Our interests kind of cover the watershed, no overlap. Like, honey, I don't want you in my bed. I want you to have a high top. God forbid they start calling out anime questions. Then you're my man. Then you're my man. I also had a guy tell me thank you, Evan. I also had a guy tell me recently he thought I had, quote, too many walls up. I said, I'm going to tell you that's how the house stays standing. Most of them are load-bearing, so let's think twice before we get all swing-happy with the sledgehammer. Because you might not like open-concept Charlie's, which is it's Adam and Steve, not Adam and Steve and Chip and Joe. I'm not your fixer-upper. Magnolia heads anywhere. AKA people. I don't know if that's true. I also had a guy, this is the real kicker, I also had a guy say, sometimes you behave like you have a God complex. I was like, whoa, maybe you're right. Remind me, who's the god of wine again? I'm kidding, it's Dionysus. Bacchus to the Romans. I think my main frustration with dating in like the digital age is that still in the current year, 2024, we still can't schedule send Hinge likes. Because like, how come if it's 2 a.m. and I want to like someone on Hinge, I have to like them on Hinge at 2 a.m. That's not a good first impression. Like, let's do a thought experiment, okay? Imagine you're laying in bed, late at night, scrolling on your phone, you're about to fall asleep. All of a sudden, you get a notification. I liked you on Hinge. Jump scare, instantly. Like, that's the Babadook, mama. I may as well like emerge from a dark alley like, hi handsome. I also like Lord and Sofia Coppola movies. Should we exchange a few polite messages and then get a weeknight drink somewhere fucking equidistant? Or like, even worse, they're already asleep by the time I send it, so it's like the first thing they see when they wake up in the morning. I was just standing there like, do you want to make you? You're so peaceful. No, I think I should be able to like someone in the middle of the night and then have it delivered to their phone at a sensible like 5:30 p.m. the next day, right? That way, spiritually, we kind of bumped into each other on the subway on the way home from work. We have a story to tell our grandchildren, and we tell ourselves stories in order to live. May she rest in peace. I'll be honest, I've been really missing Joan recently. I too am kind of profoundly misinterpreted by gay men on Twitter every single day. She was slouching towards Bethlehem. Honey, I'm slouching towards the block button. But with all that in mind, do you ever stop and think, how many of the great works of art throughout history do you think exist mainly because a gay guy didn't have access to social media yet? Because like thinking about it, if I were around in ancient Greece, I have to imagine I would have felt about, say, Athena, very similar to the way I feel about Lord in the current day. It's right there in the name. But to get that energy out, I can just kind of like tweak her lyrics with a gif of Abby Lee Miller. I go on with the rest of my day. My queer elders didn't have the same privilege, did they? They had to sort of dedicate their lives to stonemasonry and build temples just to like scratch the same itch. You know what I mean? Like you've heard this meeting could have been an email. How about this wonder of the world could have been a fan cam? That's all I can see now. You know, everybody wants to talk about the YouTube algorithm radicalizing young boys into the alt-right. Nobody wants to talk about the YouTube algorithm radicalizing me into esoteric mysticism. because I'm not watching Joe Rogan, I'm not listening to Andrew Tate, but I'm a big enough person to admit I did once click on a video called Is the Universe Conscious? And now I've been led down like such a recommendation spiral that I fully cannot eat a meal unless I'm watching like a man with the deepest voice and longest beard I've ever seen tell me everything he knows about the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. Like to fall asleep, sure, I listen to white noise. If by white noise you mean 60-year-old lectures from British men who took LSD and decided they invented Buddhism. Like how do we talk to our sons about Alan Watts and transcendental meditation before they become nonviolent? But what's cool about YouTube is that kind of no matter what you watch, they're always going to try to bring you down the alt-right pipeline. So to check for that, every once in a while I just type in top 5 lip syncs for the crown. Obviously I post online a lot, but I do so voluntarily. I hate when people act like they're forced to post online and they start like advocating for the civil rights of posters. Do you know what I'm talking about? I remember when people were like, make Insta casual again. I was always like, maybe rise to the occasion. Maybe instead of asking for the bar to be lowered for you, put in some work to make art that reaches the bar. Expand the canvas, study the old masters. Learn the rule of thirds, for God's sake. Not that hard to make a compelling image. I did though, I made a mistake recently. I let TikTok access my contacts. Never do it. But I immediately got a notification that was like, follow your friend Michaela, linked to an account of what truly looked like a 12-year-old girl. What's happening? And then I looked at the associated contact name from my phone. It said pop-ups. So I wasn't really sure what to do with that. I went to the associated Instagram page from her, or like the linked Instagram page. I confirmed she's like a middle schooler. So I've been led to one of two conclusions, folks. A, my recently deceased grandfather's phone number has been recycled and is now like this girl's first iPhone ever. B, my recently deceased grandfather's soul has been recycled. And he is now loving being number 11 on volleyball, CMS, and a major Harry Styles lover. Either way, we are rooting for you, Michaela. We're missing pop-ups. Say hi to Joan up there. Huge fan. I do need to stop like looking at screens so much. Obviously, we all do. But I really, especially before bed, need to stop looking at screens. Last night, I caught myself. I was 15 years deep into my AP Lit teacher's sons, wives, sisters, ex-husband's, new wife's Facebook page. Something has to change. As long as it is not anybody's privacy settings. If I'm honest, I still can't believe how quickly he gave up on the marriage when things got rough. Vows used to mean something. In sickness and in health is all I'm gonna say. I am trying to make some changes in my life. I recently made a pretty big lifestyle change. I decided to stop smoking weed before I go running. Moderation is key, guys. What I'm gonna do require. If you've never exercised high before, it's this amazing feeling when like the THC and the endorphins combine. Because it's like, oh, I have access to ancient knowledge. Oh, I'm generating sacred geometry off the dome right now. Cool. But I was really conflicted. I was feeling I was taking my eye off the prize. I was like, I should probably just be like looking left and right before I cross the street. Probably don't need to be rotating the cylinder in my mind or anything. I can solve the runic riddles later. Time and place, time and place. But I do, maybe it's controversial, I do think weed is a performance-enhancing drug. If your sport is running through the park on a gorgeous summer day, listening to 1989 and Reputation back to back, right? Bonus points for pausing on that round to post an Instagram story of a tree with the caption, "I can see the fractals so clearly today." That's kind of my main event. I'm going for the gold. LA 2028, anybody? What else? I also am a little worried. I think my brain might be too far gone for self-care to be like effective or especially worthwhile anymore. The other day I was feeling really anxious, so I decided to put on one of those guided meditation YouTube videos. You know what I'm talking about? Very quickly found myself turning the speed up to 1.25 and 1.5 times speed. Like, come on, get on with it, land the plane, give me my inner peace now. And when you do that, not only do all of like the guided deep breathings start to feel like guided hyperventilating, like breathe in, breathe out, in, out. But also all of like the mantras and affirmations they want you to repeat start to sound like when a real housewife has been confronted at dinner. And she's like backed into a corner defending herself, like, I am calm. I am peaceful. I am in control of my life, how dare you. I inhale strength and confidence, I exhale shame and worry, you beast. I'm not even gonna bring up the husband. Speaking of my brain, as so many are, speaking of my brain, I turned 25 recently. Not an achievement whatsoever. Turned 20, but that's when they say like your frontal lobe finishes developing, like everything starts to sort of like click into place in your life, supposedly. I'll say the main difference I've noticed is that now every time I'm at like an extended family function, I just spend the whole time panicked that I'm not asking enough world history questions. You know what I mean? Because I'll be damned if my grandchildren don't know where Aunt Janet was when the Challenger exploded. Phoenix, as it turns out. But I'm the youngest in my whole like generation, so I've caught myself even doing it to like my older cousins. I'll be like, so, you gotta tell me, what was it like living through the whole Y2K thing? Did you like take all your money out of the bank? Or they're like, well, I was 7. And pretty sure you were also alive, so not really the person to ask. It's true, I was born in 1999, which means I was alive for 9/11, but I don't remember 9/11. Cusp. But I recognized pretty early that there was a lot of, you might say, social capital in remembering 9/11. Not sure where I got that idea. But from a pretty young age, I just started faking it to seem like I was a more mature child. I won the 5th grade poetry slam with a poem called Remember. Which was, of course, an entirely fabricated account of that fateful day. From the 2-year-old, if you can believe it. From the 2-year-old. I was saying anything. I was like, Mom cries, dust flies, a man on TV with evil in his eyes. It's like, what are you talking about? You were getting your diaper changed. But like, I brought several teachers to tears. Like, I obviously struck a chord. For all, like, you have to submit that to a literary magazine. I was like, I can't. Still way too painful. Do you like how every joke I tell, I end it with like, here's what my English teacher thought. Sorry, Richie. Mine liked me. teachers, I love history teachers, but history makes me sad sometimes. I was getting really sad the other day thinking about World War II. I hate that it didn't get its own name. World War I originally had its own name, the Great War. That's iconic, it's catchy, it captures the gravitas, I'll say it, it's sexy. And I get that they wanted to show that the two were related, but I think maybe they should have used the colon method. Imagine if World War II had instead been called the Great War, catching fire. Right? Now we're sitting up in history class. The Great War, Empire Strikes Back. It's low hanging fruit, but it works, call me crazy, the squeakquel. There's something there, I have interesting ideas. Put me in the writer's room with the powers that be, and let me cook a little bit. I hate when people are like, World War III is closer than ever, World War III could start at any moment. I hear that, and I'm like, if it starts, and everyone just calls it World War III, drop the nukes, lad. I don't want to live in a world so heartless. What are we protecting at that point? Last one ended 80 years ago. Is it an IP thing? Trying to extend the copyright? Expand the WWCU? So that's kind of my stuff on war, media, violence, the CNN generation. I probably don't need to clarify this at this point. We're almost at the end of the set, but I feel like I should tell you I do have a liberal arts degree. Though I'm not one of those people who's super self-deprecating about their liberal arts degrees. No, I maintain my work in the classroom was urgent and important. Art history now more than ever. But I can acknowledge there is one sort of obvious downside to having a liberal arts degree, right? Say it with me. The sheer amount of beauty I'm capable of seeing in the everyday. Folks, it gets to be almost burdensome at a certain point. Recently I've been trying to clean out my room, clean out my apartment, get rid of junk. But then all of a sudden, I'll pop on my critical lens, and that's not junk. That's ephemera. That's not garbage. That's the minutia of modernity. You know what I mean? This cocaine bear ticket stub is a radical record of my existence through uncertain times. I'm not just going to throw it away. No way. So it's cool. I kind of only have a path to my bed now. Everything's piling up. I can't throw anything away. It's okay, because I'm not a hoarder. I'm an archivist of material culture, right? It's different. It's all about the wording. Though with that being said, if anyone does have connections to the TLC network, I have a lot of ideas that would help them. I kind of similarly, I do the same thing with words. I'll hear a phrase or a snippet of a conversation and it'll get stuck in my head out of its poeticism, honestly. The other day my dad was telling me about a party he had gone to, and he was describing they had one of those nacho tables. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they cover the whole table in nachos. It's sickening in both ways. It's disgusting, but I'm interested. But he was describing it to me, and he goes, "Oh my God, there were nachos for days. It was nacho night." I was like, "Do you know what you just said?" Because you said it in iambic pentameter. There were nachos for days, it was nacho night. The sheer parallel structure alone was kind of flooring. I've written such a couplet. Had he lived to see Tostito scoops. And then more recently, a woman was walking past me on the sidewalk. She was talking on the phone. All that I heard of her conversation was, "And I'm sad that we didn't get to go to Boise." That's a country song. And I'm sad that we didn't get to go to Boise. It's 11 words and it tells such a rich story, right? Love, loss, adventure, remorse, the false promise of the American West. Shit, I'm sad too. The one I'll never forget though, the one that lives in my head all the time, when I was in college, I was at the bagel place in my college town, and there was a mom there trying to get her 2 young sons ready to leave. And she goes, "JP and Peter, did you finish your OJ?" Imagine how my world stopped. "JP and Peter, did you finish your your OJ? JP and Peter, did you finish your OJ? There's something beautifully circular about it, like JP and Peter, did you finish your OJ? Little New Orleans bounce in there, right? Folks, would you not believe me if I now told you that mom was Nicki Minaj?